It's the Radar here, and I'm bringing to you guys my new vid series, The Weird NJ Case Files. Now, before I get underway with this very first one, again, one more big final shout out here for Urban Explorers Television, Urbex Tapes. Go check them out on YouTube. I'll be putting another little direction point at them down in the description there for yous. And today's first case file is on the Paulinskill Viaduct, or also known as the Hansberg Trestle, which they recently went out and explored. So basically, I'm going to be like a bonus add-on here to this kind of stuff. Sometimes when they go to certain New Jersey places, about once a week, I'm going to pop out a video. They're doing the foot soldier work, and I'm doing the narrative. Basically is what's kind of happening here. And it's an interesting combo, so check out both channels from time to time for that. Every Friday, I'm going to be trying to, if I can every Friday, life permitting, to put out a Weird NJ case file video. And of course, like I said, today's is the Paulinskill Viaduct, or Hansberg Trestle as I've called it, as it is as well. So again, go check them out to see it, the whole view, everywhere of it as they go about it. And I'll be talking a little bit about it as well from when I watched it. And you'll also get to know some interesting facts here about it. First of all, it is located near Blairstown over Route 80, near the Paulinskill River. It was built in 1908, usually described as one of the wonders of the world of its time. And it was for its long, big amounts of arches. And just this big cement structure was something you would not see back then. But unfortunately, it only made it till 1979. As it got shut down, and in 1985 they ripped up the whole thing tracks-wise. They ripped it up. And it was 1,100 feet long, not to mention it was also 115 feet above the Paulinskill River, and it has step ladders, as you'll see, or maybe hear about in a certain sense in the video, that you can use to go through like the tunnels and caverns and all those arches, to where you see all the graffiti everywhere, and it's just really amazing, all this time that elapsed and all this graffiti everywhere. It's crazy. And a lot of people might not know this, but it's got 7 arches, okay? 7 arches. So if you haven't been, you might not know. Or if maybe you've been, you forgot, you haven't gone often or something, you might not remember that. But it has 7 arches. Also, a lot of the guardrails are gone, so it's kind of like a dizzying height, and you might notice that kind of by watching the video. Another interesting thing I saw, actually I'll wait till I get further in the details here to reveal that, but it was built by Delaware and Lackawanna and the Western Railroad Company, and it is now owned by the New Jersey State Department of Transportation's. And also, there's some stories that have come out on it over the years from certain people. First story comes to us from Kristen, as it apparently has satanic symbols all over it, and sometimes at night there are satanic rituals held there. So thank you, Kristen. Second story comes from a guy named Tim. And Tim says people like to go bungee jumping there from time to time. And apparently one time the rope snapped when a guy bungee jumped. He fell in the river and he broke a couple of ribs, punctured a lung, and ruptured his spleen. And his first words are, "Do I get a refund?" I'm like, you're crazy. You did all that. What were you thinking? Bungee jumping off of that? Man. That's just crazy that he got hurt so bad like that, whoever that guy is that bungee jumped. But they pulled him out of that river. He lived, of course, having all those injuries. So the next story comes to us from Marcella Walgren. Now this is getting to that thing I wanted to talk about. If you go watch that video of them exploring the Paulinskill Viaduct on Urbex Tapes on YouTube, which again, I will be dropping them in the description below, they clearly come across a cross in the ground near the river. and they weren't sure if someone had just been buried there or if that represents someone who had died there specifically or somewhere else on the place. It is actually possible that that might represent a guy who did die there. But according to Marcella Wahlgren, it may not represent that guy. It may actually represent someone else, and I don't know who. Don't know exactly who. But the story has it that a cement worker got buried alive there when building it on accident when it was being built, and there is a spot that is marked on one of the arches specifically of where it happened, supposedly. And also supposedly the ghost of this guy walks the tracks, as eerie as that may be. Again, this comes to us from Marcella Wahlgren. Factual or not, can't be too sure, but thank you again. It's an interesting story. Also, one more person here, actually two more people. First, Brian. This one comes to us from Brian, a former rescue squad member, a local rescue squad member there, felt a presence when he was going there, as they would usually practice rescuing there through the tunnels and the caverns and using rope to go down. He felt a presence there, and he had to get the heck out of there and packed up, and they got out of there, him and his people that were practicing on the rescue squad there. And since then, he has not been back. It has been at least 5 years now. He has not returned, but his friends have, and they still feel a weird presence there. So, that is the story from Brian, a very creepy, interesting story. I honestly feel like you guys from Urbex Tapes should go back there and do a little investigating at a nighttime range of time. And be very closely careful to the audio, bring it back home maybe or something, and see if you hear anything. And watch all the footage you got and see if you see anything. And you should watch like up there, see if maybe the guy actually walks around or something, and go post maybe a camera somewhere near the little cross you guys found, something of the sort, or you know. But it would be interesting to catch some evidence of extra presences there, if you guys can do that in a safe, guideline way. You know, like if it's legal to be there in a certain sense, like, you know, maybe don't do anything crazy, but just observe. Just set up a camera to observe and record back audio when you go home. See if you hear anything. And point it out to people when you upload. It would be kind of interesting, kind of like one of those things you'd see on TV. So, also, it stretches into Nicholson, Pennsylvania still. It is still active on the Pennsylvania part of the railroad. And supposedly for the past 30 years, this comes to us from Eric Bass, by the way. That story was always, you know, about it stretching into Pennsylvania. But this also, they wanted to make it into a commute now for the past 30 years between the Poconos and New York. Could you imagine that? That would be crazy. Really cool for everybody. So that's all I got for you guys on the Paulinskill Viaduct here. Hope you guys have enjoyed this Weird on J case files. First episode, there will be one every week on a specific New Jersey spot, and hopefully these guys maybe visit a New Jersey spot every week, because I'll be talking about one, and maybe I'll have a video to reference for you if they've done one on it. I'll be trying to maybe keep along, do one that they have done before. So this is a pretty interesting opportunity for the both of us, as we're both new channels, and they're out there, and I can provide more of a narrative here. They're really great, though. Seriously, go watch them. They've just done some stuff recently with the Letchworth Village and the Gingerbread Castle, and also the Penn Hills Resort. That was a really good one. You guys should check that one out. Also, some extra news here from other things. I know I didn't do like a hockey or football news video this week because unfortunately both of them were like dead news this week. The only thing I got for you is Gerald McCoy is now with the Carolina Panthers, and there's a lot of trade rumors swirling around and free agency rumors swirling around in hockey. Names like Erik Karlsson and Patrick Laine might be going around, Jakub Trouba. Don't really know where they're going to land quite yet. And Patrick Marleau is seeming to mutually part ways with the Maple Leafs, supposedly. And Nikita Zaitsev might be leaving as well. It's another thing there. And some extra wrestling news. TJ Perkins, formerly known as Suicide, or even sometimes known as TJP, is coming to Impact. Welcome back. Also, extra Impact news, Taya Valkyrie will be defending her title in the first ever Fatal 4-Way Monsters Ball match to include women against Rosemary, Havoc, and Su Yung, I believe it was. That's going to be really interesting, because I know they're all extremely strong, gifted women wrestlers there, and look for that to be a real barn burner to watch. I mean, it's going to light the place on fire for a company that could really use it, because Impact is like this. Ugh. They suck. They suck real bad. But I'm glad to see RVD and Dreamer and Sabu back. It's cool. I know they're moving a little slow for some people, but it's nostalgic for me. I like it, and it's certain tastes. You don't want to beat the horse to death, but it's good to see them once in a while. It's just I hope they don't get too serious about them being back. Most people would probably disagree because they're more into the new era wrestlers, and I understand that. I just have a big respect for the legends. So yeah, that's all I got here. Monsters Ball match in history to be made. Perkins coming back as well. And I guess one more thing. The NJPW Dominion card has been revealed, so go check that out wherever you can, guys. That's seriously all I got today. So goodbye.